Greetings everyone, Tim Anderson here, aka Renfell, and welcome to the latest in my ongoing review series, Is It Worth It?, where I take a look at the various games that I play and give you a quick review. Today in my stock is this game right here, Rebel Galaxy. This is another one of those that came up through the Epic Games Launcher that you get every week, and um, last we did another sci-fi game a while back that I also did through them. A lot of the games I get through the Epic Game Launcher I don't touch. I don't think ever will because it's like 2D scrollers or really weird independent games or like Railway Tycoon and things of that nature. But I like good sci-fi games. So when this popped up, I was like, hey, the art style looks really good. And when I went and then looked it up online, I was intrigued. So I gave it a shot. So without further ado, we're going to jump in and we're going to talk a little bit today about Rebel Galaxy. But before I do, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon so to get updates for all the future content that I produce. And of course, if you like what I do here, make sure to like the video, drop a comment below, share the video out, join our Discord, all the things that you need to do to let me know that you appreciate the type of content that I create on YouTube. If you don't, that's okay as well. Give me a thumbs down. Let me know in the comments. All of the feedback helps, and it also all helps with the algorithm. So doesn't really matter as long as you're interacting. So get on in there and let me know. Okay, diving into this game, I would say that right off the bat, for me as an individual, I would not have paid more than 15, 20 bucks for this. And I probably wouldn't have paid money for it unless someone that I knew close to me who said, you really need to try this cool game. Because on the surface, just based on the trailers and everything else that I looked at, it's a ship-based game. And I'm not a huge ship-based individual. That being said, I loved the Wing Commander games and the Freelancer game. So you might hear that and say, well, wait a second, you like that? But I'm like, that's flight sim. That's a space sim as opposed to what this is, which is just kind of like a space-faring RPG, just where you're stuck in a ship as opposed to having a character avatar. The ship is your avatar. Um, so gameplay-wise, I'm not a big fan of the combat of this game. The broadsides in particular, I don't mind the rail guns. If that's I don't remember if that's what they're called, but the guns where you actually it's like a machine gun, but your rail guns is what I would call them. I like that part of the combat, but the actual broadsides, I don't like that at all. You have to get your ship aligned properly, and then you have to manually align things, and then focus in if you want the best um, effect, and then fire accordingly. And that part of the combat for me always kind of took me out of it. Whereas if I was just staying in like the regular plasma gun or railgun, whatever it's called, that mode I really liked. Plus, you can actually hold the trigger down and go into precision mode, which allows you to like shoot down incoming torpedoes and stuff, which I thought was a lot of fun. This is not a mouse and keyboard game, as far as I understand it. It pretty much just defaulted me to the controller, and I could never get mouse and keyboard to work, even if I tried to toggle it a couple of times. So I just rolled with it. And I like controllers anyway, so I was fine with that. It did play like a console game for me. Um, Combat again, not my favorite part of this game. Um, it was entertaining, but like I said, the broadside component kind of took me out of it. Combat wise, it's there's a lot going on. You've got your typical array of shields, hull, and weapons that you can upgrade from your ship, but there's also stuff like needing a tractor beam to bring in cargo. Now, I did not get deep enough as of this review. I've not gotten deep enough into the game to finish fleshing out the rest of my ship. There's a bunch of other stuff that you can do, like warp drives and some other stuff. But again, I'm not deep enough in. I'm giving a cursory review based on the 10 or so hours that I've played the game so far. It is fun. If I had to rate this on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd give it a 6, maybe a 7. Um, and the reason that I would say maybe a 7 is because there is one redeeming quality of this game, which we'll talk about here in a minute. The combat's okay. Ship customization, it's kind of basic. It's kind of the stuff you see in every game that has a ship that you're going to be doing. Kind of like, Elite Dangerous or Eve Online. If you're familiar with those types of games, then you're going to be familiar with this and being able to modify and customize your ship. Obviously, upgrade your ship. There's different ships that you can purchase. Um, Beyond that, the only interaction you really have with NPCs is mostly going to take place on these space stations or stations of some kind. Um, I have had to do some interactions with some individuals in space, traders, and so on and so forth, and it's mostly just be in the range and hail them. And in all cases, you get a pop-up window with the face of that individual, and it's all voiced, which is kind of cool. The voice acting is, I wouldn't call it top notch, but it's up there. It's good enough quality that I didn't feel like it was taking me out of the game. There have been some games I've played where the voice acting is just so bad that you just want to just turn the audio off and go listen to something else and just read the dialogue as you play through. But I found the voice acting was pretty spot on. The story in this game, I'm gonna call it somewhat generic from what I've seen so far. I haven't seen anything that just screams, "Oh my God, this is an amazing original story," um, and just sucks you right in. But it is entertaining. I will say that, and it has kept me going so far. Every time I've sat down to play, it's been a good hour and a half or so, 2 hours. So I've gotten half a dozen sessions I think so far out of this, and like I said, it's been keeping me entertained. So I think it's like I said 6 or 7. So here's the redeeming quality that I have to say about this game: the music. Oh my God, the music. Also the graphics, but the music. The music in this game is absolutely amazing. It is a cross between like Firefly. So if you're a big fan, if you're a brown coat like I am, and you like Firefly music and all the lore and everything else, some of the music reminds me a lot of that. The other part of the music gets into some like rock stuff, which I felt was really reminiscent of and I can't remember the name of the band now, the house band that they had for Sons of Anarchy and Katie, I forget her name, her band as well. So it's like a little mixture between like the music that they had on Sons of Anarchy and then the music from Firefly. So I happen to like the soundtracks to both of those shows extremely. I just said that's very bad grammar. I like them extremely a lot. Um, I really liked those soundtracks. And so for me, having that music in here, that's one of the things, to be honest with you, this is the first game I've played that I can think of in recent history where the music is so good that when I sit down to play, I find myself losing time just rocking out to the soundtrack while I'm going off and doing these missions, even though the missions can get a little repetitive and there's a lot of long space flight where you're just kind of cruising along for 2, 3, 4 minutes in light speed. Um, Warp speed, whatever they want to call it. But that music keeps you pumped and it keeps you going. So I gotta say that's one aspect of this game that is, to be honest with you, it's probably the best music in a game I've heard in the last 2 to 3 years. It really is that good. So the soundtrack alone for me, if you could just go find the soundtrack for this game and listen to it, I think it'd be worth it in and of itself. So at the end of the day, Rebel Galaxy, is it worth it? If you like space games, if you like ship-based games, it's the combat is. You just need to watch some videos on the combat. If you could, I'll show have a little snip. Obviously, I have a few snippets in this video, but you can go watch some other videos on YouTube as well. If you like these types of games, I think it's worth a pickup. If you get the Epic Games Launcher, obviously you may have gotten it recently through there. But if you don't, I think it's worth picking up for 10, 15 bucks or so. If you're gonna find a discount, maybe 20 bucks if you really love it. I don't know that it's worth more than that. But that's just my personal opinion. This is one of those games to me that, again, I wouldn't have probably picked up unless someone personally recommended it to me. But since it came through the Epic Games Launcher, I was happy to give it a shot, and I'm glad I did. Like I said, 6 or 7 out of 10 for me. It is fun. The storyline's not too bad. Voice acting's pretty good, and that soundtrack is just it's busting. It's fire, baby. So give it a look. Let me know what you think. If you haven't already done so, like I said, let me know what you think about this video. Leave a comment below. Like, dislike, do all the things. Follow along, subscribe. If you want to support what I'm doing here, don't forget to head over to Patreon and let us know over there as well. And of course, join our Discord. And stay tuned for the next episode of in my review series. Is it worth it? Stay safe. Stay healthy. I'll see everybody next time.